Us to come in and have this great show. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mr. Jose Villegas. How you doing, Zerb?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I was just letting the audience know, the listening audience, that we're coming to introduce this new topic, this new discovery, something we were given that has made life so much greater and helped me be able to manage so much better. And it's the tool, it's the tool of self-awareness. And I'm glad that you're here with me because you are one of the main people that helped me with this discovery that we have been given. And so, just real quick, I'm Robert Shakan. I'm a native Detroiter. Once again, I'm so happy to be with you, and I'm the author of this new book, Practicing Self-Awareness. The least you will ever be asked, the most you will ever gain. And with that, I'm gonna let my co-host introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Jose Villegas. I'm a black man with a Spanish name, born in Louisiana. I got here. I live in the Maryland area, Washington D.C. Maryland area. I've also written a book called Cultivating Inner Present Moment Awareness, creating separation from my mind and emotions. So yeah, Rob, kick that thing, man. I that's good. I don't speak Spanish, so if you talk Spanish, you go. The only thing I say is no comprende. So
Hey, look, you know one more than I do.
yeah, I had to learn how to slow them down, because they started running with Spanish. I'm like, man, I got the name but not the claim. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, man, I'm glad to hear you. You sound so lively over there, and this is our first show. So we're welcoming the Detroit audience to join in and learn something new. We're going to talk about, and it's more of a spiritual nature, but we're just going to talk about practicing self-awareness and how it opens us up to different paths of spirituality. What we discovered is it's multiple paths to spiritual enlightenment. And sometimes in certain communities, you have only one or two, maybe a couple of choices, but this is about finding multiple pathways to spirituality. And why is that so important? Because as we live life, we are troubled. We do have obstacles, and we need to have clarity, and we need to be in tune to that intuitive voice for guidance. And sometimes we look to a lot of places, and we don't really have concrete information to help us grow. And what self-awareness is about is not only helping you find that information, but examining if that information helps you grow and helps you get better. And so that's why we're bringing this. So now let me just say this, this is the first show, the first time. It's probably going to take us a second or two to warm up. We've been doing this for over 15 years. This is the first time we're actually bringing it to the air because we were like, hey, we got something. We have a voice, and we want to share our voice with the listening audience. So this is the first time. So it's going to take us a second to get in the groove. We're going to have.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't there. It ain't going to take us no seconds.
I said 1 second, 1 second, just one. No, you're right, because that's what self-awareness is about. Just quick before we get into today's content, I got a self-awareness story. You are so right what you're saying though. I was on my social media, and I seen a celebrity made a statement. He said, I guess he's just beginning to be at the the front end of fame. And he said, every time something good for you happens, the devil comes. And I said, see, that's what self-awareness is we have to be mindful of what we're telling ourselves. We don't want to always say when something good is happening, something negative has to happen. Something is lurking to get us because something is good. Because guess what? If you keep saying that, that is what's going to happen. That's what you believe. And so that's what self-awareness is about, is honing in on, we found out. Remember, we were practicing some things. It was some knowledge out there about how to, wish good things into your life. But what we found out was is we're not seeing what we're unconsciously attracting by the thoughts we have all day.
Exactly. Go ahead. Don't hurt him, sir. Don't
Right.
hurt him.
And so a better train of mind would be is instead of, well, every time something good happens, the devil jumps on me. How about if we say you got, because that will be your truth. How about if we say
Yes.
life has duality and it's good and things I don't like, but I can learn how to have a different relationship with the things I don't like, other than the relationship I have now. Like, get this away from me. I'm sad. I hate this. We can learn to have a different relationship. Like, what is this trying to teach me? Oh, this is ultimately going to make me better, and those types of things. And before we get into the content of the show today, and we're gonna have content, we're gonna have guests, we probably have some phone callers down the road. Right now we probably won't, because we have so much information we want to get out, but just stick with us, tune in every week. I promise you this show is going to be edifying to your heart, your mind, your soul. And I'm going to let you just chime in, Zerb, and then we're going to get into the content of today.
Sir, that I remember there was this thing people was walking around for a minute from about they woke, right? I'm woke.
The
I'm
woke
woke.
nation.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When you really get woke, you're not gonna walk around talking about it, because the amount of work it takes to free you from your mind and emotions, you're gonna be so happy to be free from it, and then it's gonna create compassion because you see other people stuck, sir. See what I'm saying? And when you see other people stuck, the compassion it creates says you actually give people a pass for their behavior, meaning that you don't just let them keep doing stuff, but you don't hold it against them because they can't stop themselves, sir. They can't. That's why they
So
haven't done no self-awareness.
yeah, so let me chime in, and I love Woke Nation, and I pick with them, and I see a lot of times I look at a couple of so-called conservative shows, and they pick with the Woke Nation, and I'm gonna say Woke Nation. I love that you're woke and you're trying to find an answer, and that's great. But what I found is the greatest awakening you can have is being awoke to yourself. And if I'm so busy watching what everybody else doing, I'm not seeing what I'm doing. And that's what this work in this book is about. So we're going to get into the content of
And
today's. Go ahead before we get into
let me
it.
say something, sir. So you saying there's a group called Woke Nation? I didn't even know that. I wasn't even trying
You
to
don't know
click on
about
that.
Woke Nation?
No, because I'm too busy waking myself up. I got I don't have no time to be caught up in all these. No, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be in a whole lot of groups and stuff. Man, look, it takes a lot of effort to wake yourself up from your mind and emotion, from your programming. There's no way. If you're really working on yourself, you ain't got time for a whole lot of social media. Let me tell you the problem with social media. It allows you to be in everybody's life but your own. You be in everybody else's business, and then you go home and don't know nothing. If I got folks around me at home that stay on the phone so much. I'm watching how they can't remember anything. Their attention span is so short. Now, if I ask them something about themselves, they ain't learned nothing about themselves today. But they know who baby mamas is this and who had a baby with them and self. Man, I'm telling you, sir. Holler if you hear me. I just holler if you hear me.
Yeah.
So,
Stay woke.
they won't. Yeah. So I didn't know it was a group called Woke Nation because I'm not in the group because this journey has to be personal for you to benefit. That's why it's called self-awareness. Nobody can be aware of you because, see, here's what they don't tell you, sir. God breathed life into man's nostril, and he became a living soul. But what it's saying is, what it's really saying is that God put us in our body, so nobody can be in my body with me. So the only one can have self-awareness of myself is me. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
the work it takes, man, ain't no way I can be in other people's business.
So before we get into the content, Zerb, I just wanted to say one thing. I noticed that we have this language, this self-awareness community has cultivated a language, and so when I hear us saying certain things, we just take for granted. We have these conversations regularly. So let's talk about right quick before we get into the content, because I have a glossary in my book. And so they notice we keep saying Zerb to each other. And that's a short term. That's a nickname we use for observers. That's people that observe themselves. And so
Right.
if you begin to practice this work and observe yourself, we will officially tag you as an observer. So I just caught that right quick. So let's get into a little bit of the content. The first day, we want to talk about this book that I have written. I wrote a book. It's called Practicing Self-Awareness. It's in the title, it says the least you will ever be asked and the most you will ever gain. And we say that because self-awareness actually is very easy to practice. Let me tell you what it is and it will be easier to do if you're in a disturbed state or bothered by something. You pay attention to what you're feeling. You pay attention to the thoughts that you're feeling that you're having as a result of what you feel. And you also pay attention to your actions as a result. And that's how you practice self-awareness. So it's real simple to do. But a lot of times, like you just said, if we're paying attention to everything else, it's hard to pay attention to yourself. And I say it's the most you'll ever gain because what I've understood is when I'm paying attention to who I believe I am, who I actually am comes forth. And that's a person that's all knowing, all love, and all peace. And I allow that space for that being inside of me to come. I say in my book, I think it's an untapped well of just superhuman resources inside of us. But like you say, if you're paying attention to everything else, you're not paying attention to yourself. You don't allow that space. So we're going to teach people how to allow that space to come and let this being inside have a greater expression while here on earth. So that's the title. That's why I say the most you'll ever gain is to have this greatest expression of yourself. So the first chapter I wrote about was the PPG, and I call it the process, the practice, and what you gauge. Remember, it was at one point in this journey, sir, we learned that a lot of teachings are out there, but a lot of times people don't give you a process. You know, they throw out warmed over things like, oh, it'll just get better with time, or just turn it over. And what we begin to see is that wasn't really a process. If I tell you, Zerb, if I say, if you come to me with one of your problems or something you go through and I say, oh, just turn it over. It's no process in that. I don't think it's something whereas if I say, well, go work self-awareness and this is what you do, I'm giving you a process and then allowing you to see, you can come back and say, hey, that worked. That was a good idea. So we learned about warmed over statements. So the first part the first chapter is called the PPG, the process, the practice, engage. Now, the second part is you can go practice this process I gave you. You can actually go into your life. Matter of fact, you can do it while you're listening to this radio show. Pay attention to yourself, see what you feel, and see what your thoughts are saying. And then you can gauge it. You can say, you know what? I practiced this for about 30 minutes. And I practiced this for a day or two, and I really am seeing something. So that's the PPG. I want you to comment on the PPGs, Eric. Go ahead.
We only got about 2 minutes, so it's a 15-minute show. We need about an hour.
We'll get up to an hour, definitely.
Yeah, half an hour. Yeah, but look, let me say this. Something I read in your book said, you go to the store and you get the cake mix. I'm just paraphrasing. And on the back, they tell you how to bake the cake. There's instructions. There's a process. And that cake should come out based on how how you follow. First of all, how you follow the instructions, right?
Right.
Don't add nothing, don't take nothing away. And just like, like for instance, when I go to church, go to church, you hear the pastor say a lot of stuff, but he never tell you how to live it.
Right.
He tell you what you should do, but that ain't good, because when I'm in my experience, that ain't gonna work.
Right. And so in closing, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. But like you said, you have to have a process, and because if you've been doing the exact opposite your whole life, you can't just tell somebody something and they change on a dime. You have to give them a process to practice. So we're going to wrap it up. We got so much more for you. We're going to talk about Zerb's book next week. You can order my book on www.arshakan.com, www.arshakan.com. We'll see you all next week. It's been a fast show, Zerb. Love you, man. We'll see you in a minute.
Love you too.
You have just been made aware. The Practicing Self-Awareness Show with host Robert Shakan and